please direct that question to Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and Augustus Muli. Call them and sit them down.
Fellow Kenyans, who is delaying the formation of the IEBC? Is it the government or the opposition? William Ruto and his allies have maintained that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka has moved to court to block the formation of the panel which is going to constitute the IEBC. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka on the other side is telling us that William Ruto is trying to rush issues and constitute a weak IEBC which will be able to rig him in 2027. Want us to start this video by listening to one Ken Michungu trying to explain on the different occasions around the selection panel, more so in the party members. Like the political parties usually nominate members in that selection panel. Have a look.
Today, I want to tell you who is delaying the IEBC selection panel, who is delaying the whole process. At the end of this video, you will know that it's Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka without a doubt. He is the one who is responsible for this delay. Forget about the blame games, forget about shifting the blame to or passing the buck to other people. It's Kalonzo Musyoka. But first, I'd like to tell you this, and today I have notes. There's one Boniface Njogu who is in a court in Kiambu, who is challenging the list of 8 because the selection panel has 9. But him is gone to court on the basis of 8 and saying under, I think, Article 59, I'm not so clear, so let me not quote it. He thinks there's no balance in this list. For example, there's no person of disability or persons with disability represented in the selection panel. So he's challenging the whole list as it is. But let me start from the principal act of the IEBC, which was amended to now include the nomination of membership to this selection panel. So this selection panel has 9 members. Interreligious organization as a whole were to produce 2. The Law Society of Kenya 1, ISPAC 1, and the Parliamentary Service Commission 2. Now the political parties liaison committee as a whole were supposed to produce 3, which is Azimio produced 1. Then Kenya Kwanza, Azimio as a minority party produced, minority coalition party produced 1. Kenya Kwanza as a majority coalition party produced 1. And then there's this one slot. Now this one slot was supposed to be filled by a non-parliamentary political party, which means that you don't have a representation in parliament, but you're a political party. So they agreed on this. That amendment provides for this. However, they Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka had nominated Koki Muli, but there was a dispute over Wiper nominating someone again, yet they had produced as Azimio. That's the first stalemate. So there was a subcommittee that was formed to look into this. Now this subcommittee had other memberships under parliamentary, under political parties liaison committee. This subcommittee agreed that the affiliate parties of Azimio should produce the last member or the last nominee to this selection panel. So they agreed the modality was to be in an election. A day before the election or before the election, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka managed to convince the other 23 affiliate parties of Azimio to drop off the race in favor of his nominee, which was Ambassador Koki Muli. And there's nothing wrong with nomination of Koki Muli. So once the other parties fell off, they only remained with the National Liberation Party under Augustus Muli, who was nominated. However, they tried to convince the Liberation Party, National Liberation Party, to withdraw the candidate. They refused. They even, I understand, they even offered money to the party as a non-parliamentary political party to withdraw their candidature. He refused. So they went into an election in Machakos, and Augustine Muli got 16 and Koki Muli got 7. Right, total 23. It was full quorum. However, Wiper suddenly said, but it was not gender sensitive. This list was taken to Parliament as is. But somehow, Parliament said, but this list is not gender sensitive. So they decided to remove Augustine and entrench the name of Ambassador Koki Muli. But then this party, Liberal Party or Liberation Party, Liberal Party, contested and said, but there was an election outcome. Why is it that you are substituting our name? So they went to the political parties dispute tribunal, which ruled in their favor and said that the election was above board. So Kalonzo Musyoka again went to the High Court and said no, on the basis of the list not being gender sensitive. Kalonzo Musyoka went to the High Court, and the High Court somehow agreed with Kalonzo Musyoka and even told this party, National Liberation Party, that you know what, or Liberal Party, you know what, you will be compensated millions of shillings or whatever for your candidature. Let Koki Muli go to the panel. But this party refused. They said no, but there was an election with a legitimate outcome. In fact, the High Court said that you can never expect a gender sensitive list in a competitive election. You understand? So they agreed with them, but said you'll be compensated. But the National Liberation Party said no, all Liberal Party, I'm confusing that name, said no, our candidate won. He must be in the panel, selection panel. So then they went to the Court of Appeal. So basically, if you look at the delay, and this is, I'm going to have this on air today, I'm just trying to explain to you, and I'm going to have a whole length of the chronology plus dates. If you look at what happened, who is delaying the process? Kalonzo, who under Azimio, because that time it was under Azimio, the umbrella of Azimio, they had nominated. Then he decides to nominate again. Then after nominating again, they decide, this subcommittee decide we go into mediation and we go into an election. After going into an election, this guy Augustine Muli is voted. After being voted, Kalonzo Musyoka decides no. He takes this list to Parliament, and Parliament writes back to Junet Mohammed and says no, this list needs to be sensitive. So because he needs to be sensitive in an election, even as an MP, if an MP loses an election now, and number 2 was a man, or the first number 2 was a woman, if that MP, God forbid, dies, do we give it automatically to number 2, or we go to a competitive election to elect a new one? We go to a competitive election. But Kalonzo, because of this dispute from Parliament writing it's not sensitive, just decided let's award it to number 2, who was Koki Muli, again trying to entrench his choice. It didn't work. These guys went to court. Again, High Court agreed with this party, but said you'll be compensated. They said no, but there's a competitive election, we must be given. Then they are now in the Court of Appeal. Now the Court of Appeal is yet to be empaneled to look into this. We are, let me say from the Apollo, that movie, Houston, we got a problem, and the problem is Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, make sure you subscribe and give the video a like. Okay, from Ken Michugu's message, it is very clear that Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is the one who moved to the courts to block one Augustine Muli of the Liberal Party from joining the selection panel. The selection panel has some political appointments from the different political sides. We have a member from the majority side, that's the William Ruto's government, and a member from the opposition. William Ruto produced his member into the panel, but it seems William Ruto is trying to infiltrate the opposition and take charge on who is going to join the panel from the opposition, and that is what Kalonzo Musyoka is against. And this is how things happened. In our National Assembly, the ODM party is a minority party, or it is the party with the minority. That's why we have Junet Mohammed as the minority leader. So they produced Adam Solo into the panel. Then the third candidate was to come from political parties without representation in the parliament. That's why we have the Liberal Party, Wiper Party, Jubilee, and the like. Then remember, in Azimio was formed by several parties, and for that case, William Ruto was trying to use Jubilee Party to undermine and take charge on the candidate who was going to join the panel. All these political parties were to nominate one candidate into the panel. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka was fronting Koki Muli. Then we have the Liberal Party fronting Augustine Muli. I don't know the relationship between Augustine Muli and Kalonzo Musyoka. Augustine Muly and William Ruto, and vice versa. I don't know. But an election was conducted in Machakos County and Augustine Muly won against Koki Muly. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you trust? Kalonzo Musyoka, who is telling us that William Ruto is doing everything in his powers to have a weak IEBC which will rig him in 2027, or William Ruto and his close allies who are telling us that it is Kalonzo Musyoka who moved to the courts and blocked the formation of the IEBC. The latest attacks to Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka are coming from the Member of Parliament Kibwezi West constituency, the mover of the motion to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, Honorable Mwengi Mutuse. Have a look.
Katika bunge, mimi ndio naibu mwenyekiti wa kamati ya bunge ya sheria, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Na kuna jambo ambalo limekuwa ya utatanishi kuhusu kutengenezwa kwa IEBC mpya. Nataka kusema nikiwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya bunge ya sheria kwamba tumefanya mabadiliko ya sheria sasa kama mara mbili ndio tuweze kufacilitate tukue na IEBC mpya. Na kwa sababu tulifanya mabadiliko ya sheria ndio tukue na IEBC mpya, kwanza hapo mbeleni, na ya pili wakati baada ya mazungumzo ya ambao yalikuwa ya NADCO, ni kwa sababu tunaelewa kwamba itakuwa ni gharama kubwa kwa nchi ya Kenya kuendelea kuwa na IEBC. Na tunajua vile vile kwamba kuna constituency kama vile Banisa huko Mandera ambazo sasa zimekuwa ni kama mwaka mzima na hazina mwakilishi katika bunge. And it is very unfair for the people of Banisa and other constituencies and even for wards not to be represented in parliament when budgets and other matters of national importance are being discussed. Lakini tumeona kwamba kuna karata. Kuna watu ambao wanaenda kotini wanazuia IEBC isitengenezwe ndio warushie serikali maneno. Na tunataka tutangaze leo kwamba wale ambao mnafanya karata ya kutaka tusitengeneze IEBC, you must declare your intentions. Kwa sababu sisi mahali tulipo tunataka IEBC itengenezwe. We wanted IEBC last year. We wanted IEBC yesterday. We want IEBC today. And we know the people who are derailing IEBC ndio ionekane kwamba serikali ndio itaki IEBC. You get political marks. Na tunataka kuwaeleza kwamba karata yenu tunaijua and we will not allow you to derail Kenyans. IEBC must be constituted. The selection panel lazima ikue. Tutaenda kotini mimi kama wakili tumalize hizo makesi so that we pave way so that Kenyans can have an independent electoral and boundaries commission to carry on the by-elections and to prepare for the next elections so that Kenyans can have confidence that the next elections will be free, fair, democratic and peaceful. Asanteni sana watu wangu wa Kibwezi.
Fellow Kenyans, it is true we need the IEBC as soon as possible. But in that hurry, we need a IEBC which is very strong. A IEBC which is able to conduct free, fair and credible elections in 2027. We don't want another Chebukati in 2027. Also take, express your opinion in the comments, give the video a like and subscribe. Road to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you for tuning in.